Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly. And this one is a little bit different, but I'm absolutely delighted to be chatting to the three guys who have joined me here today. So welcome, everyone. Brian Young, who is the UK and EMEA Managing Director of G Adventures. Derek Jones, Chairman of Abta LifeLine, and Sally Cope, who is the Regional General Manager UK and Northern Europe for Tourism Australia. So why are all these people together on one webcast, you may ask? Well, you're about to undertake a big challenge. Brian, tell us all about it.
Yeah, so we've been running for a little while now what we call G-Trek for Good. It started pre-pandemic with a few of us climbing up Kilimanjaro and raising funds at that time for Planeterra, which is the foundation as part of G Adventures. It creates community tourism projects all over the world. And some of that money when we climbed Kili also went to Abta LifeLine. And then we decided we want to do something every year, look at a challenge. How could we bring people together from the travel industry, take on a challenge, raise money for good causes? So we did have this plan 3 years ago. And then that thing called COVID turned up and put a kibosh on everything and lots of other things in the meantime. But we were determined we still wanted to do it. We see an opportunity, there is a conference in Morocco around the same time. So we knew lots of people would be going to that conference. So the two things just made sense in which to do. So we resurrected that as soon as COVID come out, started to come out, and it was clear that people were going to be able to travel, get back to Morocco. So we got together with Abta LifeLine and said, look, we still want to do this. Let's get a casting call, let's get people motivated and get on board. And I'm pleased to say there are 32 of us that are climbing up Mount Toubkal. It's 4,163 meters high. We're doing it in a very short space of time. So it's going to be quite arduous because we are, climbing elevation quite quickly. So it isn't going to be easy. It's going to be quite a tough climb, this one. But yeah, and the idea basically is all the money that we raise collectively as the 32, all the money that's raised, by the way, all the donations that are made go to that pot of money. There's not paying for anyone to climb. Everyone's paid for themselves individually. So therefore, all the money that gets donated is all going to Abta LifeLine and Planeterra. And from a Planeterra perspective, we will look to distribute the pot of money to projects that are either in play that need support because of the COVID pandemic, or we'll look at, is there an opportunity for a new project in a community that, we can use that money for good.
And Brian, those projects, are they in Morocco? Have you got a project in Morocco currently, or could it be anywhere where you travel?
We have a project in Morocco. So this will probably, what we're looking to do is get the funds raised, and then we'll sit down with Planeterra and say, look, we've got this amount of money. How are we best going to utilize that money moving forward?
Okay. All right. Well, if we've got time, we'll come back and ask you a little bit more about that. But let's bring you in, Derek, because you're chairman of Lifeline, I guess, always looking for funds. Charities are, we know that. But this is an important adventure, expedition that you're undertaking at this time, I would say, because we've got, we've already been through such difficult times, and we've got round the corner an economic impact coming, cost of living crisis, and I guess there might be quite a call on the Abta LifeLine Fund. So tell us how important it is.
Yeah, it is really important, Lucy. So, I mean, if you go back not so very long ago, Abta LifeLine was out there supporting lots of staff that were affected by the failure of Thomas Cook. Hundreds of people came to us for help at that time, and we raised more money at that time and distributed more money at that time than we'd ever done in the history of Lifeline. So we have to say we thought we were through the crisis, and then of course that was immediately followed by COVID, and we saw businesses really struggling, and we saw staff affected again. And again, Lifeline was there to support our colleagues in the travel industry. And then, as you've alluded to, we've sort of come through the back of that, and now we find ourselves facing a much more sort of domestic challenge where we see the cost of living rising significantly, the cost of borrowing going up, people's mortgages becoming less affordable, the cost of heating and everyday living is beginning to escalate. And at the coalface, travel isn't the best paid business in the world. We all know that, and a lot of people have got credit card bills and credit card debt, and it doesn't take much to tip people over the edge. And that's what Lifeline is there for. It's there to help people in times of crisis. So we anticipate there's going to be another big call for help through this coming winter, and we need to make sure that the funds are available. And to echo what Brian said, it's amazing that we've managed to have 32 travel industry people in the right place at the right time. And we haven't had to persuade them to do it. I mean, if anything, people have been queuing up to join us, which is absolutely amazing. Again, to reiterate Brian's point, they've all paid their own way. None of this has been funded by the charities, either Lifeline or Planeterra. So every penny we raise will go to help those charities. So yeah, really excited. And I hope everyone can get behind us, follow us, enjoy watching us suffer, and most importantly of all, make a contribution.
All right, well, we'll come back to both of you and ask you how you're feeling about this, but you say everybody volunteered to do it, and Sally was smiling. Is this something you desperately wanted to do, Sally? Tell us about it.
Well, truth be told, I think I was standing at a party with a glass of wine in my hand when this concept was pitched. So there was a bit of bravado when I said, that's a great idea, I'm doing it. I do love a challenge, and I've gone through a bit of a roller coaster of emotions because there's the trepidation, can you do it? But then it's the excitement of having such a big challenge. I will personally be challenged by this. I've taken my training very seriously. I haven't had any alcohol this month yet, so my body is a temple currently. I'm trying to get out and walk as much as I can every day. I walk to and from work. That is my commute. The security guards in Australia House think I'm nuts because I use the stairs to the 6th floor office instead of the lift these days. So every little bit counts. But I love walking, and I love walking holidays. The concept of walking as part of a travel itinerary, I love anyway. It's slowing down and absorbing a location and meeting people and seeing it and everything. So I know I'm going to love it. I'm excited to see the Atlas Mountains and everything. And the fact that it's a personal challenge like this, that's also for 2 wonderful causes. I mean, I'm glad I've signed up. I'm really excited about it.
Oh, it's well done for doing training and for not drinking. I bet the other 2 can't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. And Sally, what are the things that I know you say you're excited, but you went through that trepidation thing. I mean, it is high, and it is a short period of time that you're trying to scale this mountain. What do you think will get you through? Do you think it's going to be the camaraderie, lots of jelly babies? I mean, what do you think is going to be the toughest bits and the bits you're most looking forward to?
It's all of that. It's also a group of people in the industry, a lot of whom I haven't met. And that's one of the great things about walking in a group like this. It's the walking and talking and getting to know people outside an office or a conference space. And I've been here in this role in the UK for 4 years now, and 2.5 of them have been sort of, very much locked down by COVID. So personally, I'm excited by that as well, just being able to meet some colleagues from different parts of the industry who I don't know that well. And I'm very, very excited just to see this part of the world, because I haven't been there before.
I was trekked up a mountain with Brian before. Can I offer you a little bit of advice?
Yes, please.
Come on.
Yes, please.
You need to buy earplugs, because Brian is a terrible snorer. And I'm sorry I'm announcing that on a Travel Weekly webcast.
Very
Brian,
public forum.
I feel obliged to help Sally out here. You need earplugs.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Brian, Sally makes a great point. I mean, we trekked together a few years ago with a smaller group. We weren't 32, but you do really need each other, don't you, at different points? It can get tough, and actually that's really important, isn't it, on one of these trips?
Oh, without a shadow of doubt. Yeah, I think one of the things that we learned from our trip when we climbed, as you say, it was a much smaller group, that camaraderie of being together from the outset, taking on a huge challenge, the intrepidation of it, I think brought us together before we'd even got on the plane. And then the realization is, as you're going through every day, everyone goes through different phases. And actually, when you're in a big group like this, it really does count at that point, making those meaningful connections. As Sally says, there are people that are climbing with us that I know, but I don't really know them. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know people properly. And you really do. And you'll know as well as I do, Lucy, every day that you're together and you're mixing and you're climbing and you're going through different thought processes, and some people struggle with bits, some don't, and we get each other through it. There's no denying it's very, very emotional when you get to the top.
Oh,
it's the culmination of like building relationships,
floods of tears.
Through it, and it was like tears all round. And it's something I actually didn't expect, not of myself, let alone everybody. Looking at people like Miles Morgan and Chris, Mottershead crying her eyes out at the top, and you just think, oh, it's like the most weird thing. But that, I think, is part of that whole emotional, the investiture you put into it on a daily basis, because it's not easy, it is hard, but it's definitely, you need each other to get through. You can't do it without the group. And I just noticed something whilst I'm at it. Sorry, I'm just moving around here. Hey, look, Derek, great minds think alike, clearly. Eh?
Oh my God. It's amazing.
That's so weird.
Come on, Brian, I've got to tell you, for years, I've worried that I hung this upside down. But
look, we've got it exactly the same.
Yours upside down.
I hope you didn't both get sold an original. Now, Derek, this is taking you back a few years, not a mountain as high as Kilimanjaro, but you and I have also climbed a mountain together. We climbed Ben Nevis. But when I say we climbed it together, you, I think, ran up it. You went so fast, you were like this mountain goat. I don't know if you remember that. So what are you going to be like on this trek? Are you going to be, leading the pack? Are you going to be supporting people through, all the different ones who are struggling? What are you going to be like?
I think the important bit of what you've just said, Lucy, was that it was a long time ago that we climbed that particular mountain. My knees and my thighs aren't in quite the same condition that they were 20 years ago. No, but I like to think I'm reasonably fit. But as Brian said, it's a team effort. It's not about first top. It's about getting 32 people through the experience. Everybody's out there raising money individually, and it's important that we get as many people up there as we can. So we'll all be working together. It's not about individuals. Even there's a WhatsApp group, of course. There's a WhatsApp group for everything, and everybody's sharing their training and doing videos and saying what they're up to, and everyone's encouraging everybody else already to help get them through. And I'm not that worried about Brian snoring, because I'm not planning to sleep with him like you did. So I think I'll be fine.
Don't you dare start rumours. What I would say is, if you don't even want to, but you get very close to people on these kind of trips, so can't have any shame about where you have to go to the toilet on the mountain and everything. So you have to lose all of that kind of inhibition. On a serious note, have you got a target of how much you want to raise, or how are people doing with their fundraising? What are we on track to try and raise here? So
we're trying to get to £20,000 in total. We're about just over halfway there. We've got about 7K, give or take, but the last couple of days, the amount of donations that are coming in have been quite high. We are also conscious of the fact that people, got one eye on a credit crisis that's looming and such like. So we know, everybody that donates, no matter how big or how small, we really do appreciate that, it's a difficult time for people, and for people to dip their, hands in their pockets towards this worthy cause. All from everybody, all 32, anyone watching this that has donated, massive thank you for putting your hands in your pocket. They're going to go to some great causes. And anyone who's watching that hasn't done, we'd really appreciate you dipping in and supporting any one of us 32. It doesn't matter who it is, as long as we get to, what we're trying to get to at the very end of it. So, yeah. And you make a good point. It's tough for everybody. But Derek, the people that will be calling on Lifeline, even if people can just give a £5 or a £10 or whatever they can afford, because that will mean an awful lot to some people. I mean, they come to you for just supermarket bill. They can't even afford to buy their shopping some weeks, can they? Or it really is so needed, this money.
Yeah, I mean, a very small amount of money can make a huge difference to an individual, and I think that's the important thing. And you know, it is literally every £5 or £10 or £20 makes a difference. So you know, don't feel as though it needs to be a big number that you're putting down. If you can afford £5 is great. £10 is just as good. So yeah, we love your support. We'd love to get behind us. There's a lot of people putting a lot of effort and a lot of training, and there's a lot going into it. And you know, it would be nice to know that people are behind us in the industry and supporting us, and ultimately supporting their colleagues and supporting Planeterra to deliver against those fantastic projects that they do.
Yeah, and just on a Planeterra note, Brian, just to finish off there, these are projects who in places that are really dependent on tourism, who've been through 2 years when they've had kind of no business. So more so than ever, these projects really need support, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. You know, you hit the nail on the head. You know, tourism for 2 years literally wasn't happening, and especially to the places, you know, through which we travel and have these projects, you know, in local communities. So they've been really hard hit. So anything that we can do to help support, you know, local communities around the world, then, you know, that's greatly appreciated. And it goes a hell of a long way as well. To Derek's point, you know, the smallest amount, whilst you might not think it, you know, it's a lot of money, actually it is, and it goes a long way. So, yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I will be at the convention, the welcome party when you all come back. There'll be a whole load of us. We're really cheering you on. It's such a fantastic thing you're doing. And to your point, Sally, you will have an absolute blast, and I'm sure you're all going to make it. And we want to hear from you. We want all the pictures. So send it through, and we just wish you the best. And anybody watching this, please do support these 32 fantastic people who are tour operators, travel agents, a whole mix, isn't it, Brian? You've got everybody involved.
Everything and everything.
Media,
anyone involved in the travel industry is getting involved in this trek. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we wish you the best of luck, and please let us know how you get on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Lucy. Thank you.